So I had some thoughts about competitiveness, competition. Seems like everybody is always talking about how great competition is, how it's so good. And I'm not talking about economically, that's an entirely different discussion that I don't really want to get into right now. But I'm talking about just like socially, competitiveness. We hear about it in sports all the time, and like it's like that we glorify it. We think it's just this like trait, this character trait that is that is to be envied and to be glorified and praised. It's what all the greats have, right? Oh, he's so competitive. He has that competitive fire. It drives him to greatness. And it's true. I mean, it does, right? Like the greatest athletes in the history of sports have been the most competitive people, men, women, in any sport. I mean, a couple of examples. Kobe Bryant, right? Incredibly competitive. Michael Jordan, incredibly competitive, right? These are the guys that were driven to greatness, to become the best at what they did. And we always talk about how great that is. I mean, recently I was listening to, I've heard a couple of people talking about competitiveness as it relates to masculinity and trying to kind of define masculinity and what it is and what it means to be masculine, to be a man, and how important the aggressiveness is and the competitiveness and how that sort of is tied up in the nature of masculinity. And I just disagree with that. I think that's not accurate. I think that competitiveness, honestly, it's about pride, for one thing. It's about pride, being better than somebody else, being better. But it really comes from, it's motivated by an emotion, and the emotion is fear. The emotion is scarcity, or the fear that comes from scarcity or lack. It's feeling like you're not enough in the moment, right now, as you are. So you have to drive yourself to be better so that you can become good enough to be happy and to be loved. So that you can become good enough to be content. And people want to say, you never want to be content because you'll just get lazy and you don't improve. But I disagree with that. I've found in my life, when I feel at peace the most, when I feel like I'm enough, I actually do more. I do more. I achieve my potential more easily, more quickly. I achieve more. I share more. I give more because I'm filled. I have enough to give. So, I just think that competitiveness is always about comparison. It's always about, how do I compare to this person or that person? Because I don't feel like I'm good enough on my own, so I need to compare myself to somebody else, be better than them, so that then I feel like I have value and feel like I'm worthy of love, happiness, good things in the world, in my life. And so it reminds me of a quote. I think I shared it at some point, I don't remember, but it says, until you let go of the idea that happiness is somewhere else, it will never be where you are. And that's the problem with competitiveness. We feed this, we call it the fire, right? The fire of competitiveness. We feed that fire. It's a starvation. We're just starving for being good enough, starving for love, for attention, for happiness. So people use competitiveness to try to gain some sense of self-worth and value. But if you act on that feeling of scarcity and lack, you just strengthen it. So then when you achieve the goal that you think is going to make you feel like you're good enough, you still feel like you're not good enough. So you keep striving, keep pushing, keep driving. And you never allow yourself to feel joy in the moment. You never allow the moment to be enough. You never allow yourself to be enough. And you'll always be driven by that feeling. It will always be there. In fact, you see this in a lot of the great athletes, right? I don't know if anybody ever watched Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame inductance speech. It's like, I mean, it was all about, hey, all the people that doubted me, I win. Like, he's still competitive. He's still driven by that. Like, can't you just be enough as you are without having to compare yourself to everybody else or prove everybody else wrong? Like, who cares what everybody else thinks about you? I mean, I get it. It's human nature, right? But that's kind of my point, is that that part of human nature, a lot of the parts of like just natural man, human nature stuff are really unhealthy, and they lead to a lack of fulfillment. They lead to a difficulty in being present in the moment, because the moment is never enough for you. You're never able to feel happy in the moment. So I'm not against striving to improve or be your best or do your best. I think that's actually really good and really important. But to me, it matters why. Why are you striving? If you're striving because, hey, I'm never enough in the moment, I'm not good enough right now, I need to earn being good enough, and you're driven by that feeling will never go away. No matter what you achieve, it'll never go away until you can let go of that fear of not enough, believe that you're enough in the moment. And then what happens paradoxically and strangely enough is that when you feel like you're enough in the moment, you reach your potential quicker and easier, and you share more and you do more. You give to the world out of an abundance that's within you. You reach your potential. I think people should strive, not because they need to become enough, but because they already are enough. And when you feel like you're already enough, you give. You give and you reach your potential. You share. You do. You act. You take action. You share. So the fear is, and it's fear, it's motivating it. The fear is, if I say I'm enough right now, then I just won't ever achieve, or I won't reach my potential. You will quicker and easier. It's a paradox, but it's true. When you feel, the truth is, we are what we feel we are. And so when we feel like we're not enough, you're constantly being motivated by this not enough, and you never become enough. Never feel like you become enough. But when you're motivated by feeling enough, you are enough, you reached your potential, if you believe that you are capable and able to do something good and great, you'll do it. And you'll be able to do it, because we are what we believe we are. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Right? So it's just a thought I had about competitiveness. I'd like to shift that conversation. Instead of acting from a space of lack and scarcity and I'm not enough, if you believe that you're enough, you'll achieve more, and you'll do it quicker and more powerfully.